Hello and welcome back to the Backed by Bone podcast. I am your host, of course, Don Burgundy, aka Chris, and we had a special guest today. My only guest, my first guest, is my good friend Dylan, and it is Sunday, July 31st, 2022. How the fuck you doing? We're gonna get right into it. This is kind of spur of the moment, but we've been talking about this for a little while, so we just kind of set everything up, and we're gonna go from here. I'm gonna ask her some interview type questions, and we're just gonna talk for however long we feel like it. And hope you guys enjoy. So, Dylan, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Dylan Wilkerson. I met Chris at Choose whenever I first started working out there. He just was like one of probably the friendliest guys in the gym. Also one of the biggest dudes that I'd seen at the time.
Two compliments at once. Wow.
And so I was just like, I just need a big friend, and it turned out that he was actually a really, really good guy, and he's been around and just helping me through a lot of life shit, and we listen to a lot of the same music, and he pushes me in the gym and I help him just in general with being his wingman. So thought I would just stop on by and hop on the podcast.
Amazing. Yeah, no, Dylan's honestly awesome. Like, one of my actual, I don't have a whole lot of friends here in Colorado, which kind of sucks, but Dylan's one of my better friends here, and sucks we don't really get to spend a whole lot of time together anymore, but it is what it is. People get busy. But one thing I do want to say is that moon tattoo from Soul Eater, that came out so good.
Yes,
I remember seeing it on your Instagram when you first caught it, and I was like, dude, that is sick. Like, can I see it a little bit closer?
Yeah, go for it.
Damn. Yeah, that looks so good.
Right.
And it's funny because I instantly knew what that was when I saw it, and I feel like people probably bring it up and they probably don't know what it is, right?
Yeah, they're like, oh, it's Demon Slayer, right? And I was like,
not even close, brother.
It's okay. Just pat him on the back.
Yeah,
pat him on the back. It's
it's
fine.
all good.
It's fine.
I mean,
just go this way. It's actually Soul Eater. You should really check it out.
Yeah. And then the guy who did Soul Eater has also got Fire Force out right now, which is pretty good.
Nice. I'll have to check that one out.
It's cool. They're like, long story short, they're like firefighters, but the fires that they're fighting are caused by like supernatural demons and entities. So everyone has these supernatural abilities, and
nice.
I don't want to ruin too much of it, but this isn't really going to spoil it. But people spontaneously combust.
Yes.
For some strange reason they haven't figured out. That's why that's what happens when the fires happen. So they spontaneously combust, and then they turn into these demon things with no humanity left, and they start fucking shit up.
Do they know that they have these powers?
Yeah, the people who are fighting the fires know they have powers, but the people who spontaneously combust and turn into demons, it just happens at random.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it just happens at random, and they don't know what's going on, and
these poor souls.
Yeah, so they'll just be I think one of them was this guy was on a train or something like that. I forget. I had to go back and watch it, but it just randomly happens to these people. So it's spur of the moment, randomly, and they just burst into flames, everything's charred around them, and then they come into these weird demon-esque fire being things that the fire force has to fight. And, yeah, no, it's definitely one of those things that's very because you obviously know Soul Eater, but if anyone listening has ever watched Soul Eater, it's very heavy on the aesthetic.
Yeah.
In on itself.
Yeah.
So if you watch Fire Force, it's very heavy like that too. It's done by the same guy. Artwork's almost identical, but two completely different niches in terms of one's more of that Soul Eater's more the main character is a female, and she's going to school and shit like that, whatever, and trying to become
the top ghoul.
Yeah, the top Reaper or whatever it was, and this one's more of saving humanity from these flame beings. I don't know. I need to go back and rewatch it, but I'm also half idiot because of prep, so I'm could be completely misremembering it, but it's whatever. Again, I do think it's a dope tattoo. I mean, I'm big into tattoos, and I want to get more. I just don't have money, but. Yeah, I got a few questions here. Some of them are generic, and some of them are kind of more a little bit thought-provoking.
Yeah.
So we'll start with one of them fun that's actually on topic here. Is if you have any anime recommendations, because I talk about anime on my podcast. So if you have any,
about to bring this up.
Yeah, if you have any you want to talk about or any you really want to recommend to anybody, feel free.
Yeah. What's your level of gore? Are you top gore? Are you okay with the gore? Or are you kind of just peak?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty cool with the gore. Tokyo Ghoul, Dead Man Wonderland, Elfen Lied. Those are two of the biggest.
Just about to say, yeah.
Gory series. I don't know. I've watched those, and people are oh, I can't stomach it. And I'm like, bro, what? This isn't even that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So Elfen Lied was definitely one of them, or Lied, however you say the last four letters of that
I have
word.
no idea how to say it.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
We've definitely rewatched Attack on Titan so many times.
Are you caught up?
No.
Neither am I. I think I've watched up to like the 3rd season.
Yeah.
It's a fucking... Dude, it's like a job trying to watch that show.
Okay.
I sit there and pay attention to all of it, like, oh my Jesus.
Right? And then the fact that they're always like, ah! Ah! I'm like, I'm exhausted from you screaming at me. Like,
I know.
why? Like, it's a really good show, and like,
Yeah.
there's so much emotion and just like so much story and thought behind it.
Yeah,
And,
the
like, I
intensity.
love watching Aaron grow as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
character.
Yeah.
And just like all of the characters, honestly, but Aaron probably is one of my favorites. But
Right. He's the most like fleshed out, like in-depth character.
Oh yeah, and like the fact that he comes like and okay, I don't know if I was like
I'm gonna go.
I don't know if like I should like spoil it, but he becomes the Titan anyways, and it's really fucking cool.
That happened
So,
like years ago.
I
I'm pretty
know.
sure you could spoil that part.
Well, I didn't know how like far people were in because like that's like probably
Bro, if you
like
haven't-
after that. And
If you
then I'm,
haven't
like,
watched up to
fell
that
off.
point by now, you're never gonna watch it.
Right,
So it's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know, also like I'm not the kind of guy who's like spoiler alert. It's like, bro, it's like that's like me spoiling like the fucking plot to Lord of the Rings Twin Towers at this point.
Right?
Like, come on, dog. Like, you should know by now. Like,
Yeah, I haven't been watching that much anime because I've been watching like more reality TVs.
Yeah.
But
okay, you can also recommend some reality TV as well.
How to Build a Sex Room.
It's called what?
How to Build a Sex Room.
What is that on? Like Hulu or something?
No, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's very
Give
adorable.
me the TLDR breakdown of it.
Wait, what does that even mean?
Too long didn't read.
Okay, cool. Holder.
Yeah. The JR told her.
Oh my god. So basically it's just this cute little like old British lady.
I'm
Who,
already in.
Yeah, it's so cute. She's like, oh, darling, you're so cute. She's like, here's a flogger. And I was like,
Oh my
yes.
god. I don't know what it is about British and like Australian accents, but I'm all in.
Right? And she's
All
just
in.
so cute, and she's super upfront, and like that's all she talks about, obviously, is just like the sex and the sex world and like kinks and stuff like that.
Yep.
So basically, it's I think it's like an 8 or 9 episode series, and there are a few in Denver. Like there are a few
Oh,
of the
that's
sex
cool.
stops that she comes in there in Denver.
That's dope.
And basically, she just finds these people who have room in their house to build a sex room for them. They want something that they can like go and explore themselves or like push the limits and stuff. Some people have actually like used their bedroom to like make their own instead of like the whole house being the kid's house. Like so
Right.
it's their parents' bedroom.
Got it.
So it's really cool, and it helps like a lot of people. Like it helped me and my partner kind of like ask each other like what we were into, and like find out that we were like super into shibari, which is really cool. Shibari is really pretty and just absolutely beautiful. A lot of people who are also into anime are into shibari as well. So, but yeah, it's just really cute, and you're just like, it's just so crazy how like a lot of these people are like, oh yeah, we just talk about this like it's no other, like yeah, we do anal all the time, and like blah blah blah, and I'm just like. Okay, like this takes me some like warming up to do. Like we should go get coffee,
Right,
and like
yeah.
like be like, okay, so I heard that you were into kinks, like ease into it, like not like full force, like right into the fucking butt, like.
Right.
But yeah, she's super cute, a really cute show. I really hope they keep going. But yeah, lots of very amazing, strange people in the world.
I can imagine.
It's a very good show. I like almost want to re-binge watch it,
Mhm.
but I've like already seen all 8 episodes.
I mean,
more than once.
Whenever you rewatch things, you always find something new.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. I probably have to check that out because I think it's super important to have those kinds of conversations, especially with partners, especially if you're going and doing something like that
Mhm.
isn't so like vanilla, plain, or whatever. It's like those conversations, like being at that certain level of understanding with your partner or partners, I think is super important, especially for development, and especially if it's like this is something that you need in a sexual aspect, you know what I mean? Like to actually find pleasure, or it's going to be the most pleasurable because, you know what I mean? Like butt sex is cool, but
Yeah.
like, not everybody gets off to that kind of shit.
Exactly. And it's like the connection and like the safety of it too.
Yeah.
Like
So that's
It's-
a big part of it. I think it is the safety because
oh yeah.
you could just like there's even like on Reddit and shit like that, you could find random people to hook up with all the time, and like you don't even know if you're going to be safe. Like you don't know
Right.
if they know what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
so it's just straight risky. But if you can find like people who are like understanding, experienced, and like
Mhm.
can give you that certain level of comfort, like you kind of want to keep those people around in your life.
Oh yeah. And it's definitely helped with like our communication a lot too,
Mhm.
with like just with even like kinks in general, like they're meant to push your boundaries. They're meant to like make you feel scared sometimes, like, ooh, maybe I like this and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So like communication has always been really hard for me, just with like my last previous partners and just like in general, I just hate confrontation. I'm like a really
Right.
soft Capricorn
Yeah.
and I'm a Taurus moon, so like I'm literally a fucking puddle. Like like you can't, like, you can literally touch me and I'm like, ah! Sometimes.
All
only
the
sometimes.
It's like,
right?
it's like a jello made of emotion with a very
Right.
thin skin that where when you poke it, it's just kind of black.
Yeah, but as soon as I get into the gym, I'm like She-Hulk. Like, don't bother me.
There
But yeah, like, the communication and the safety, like, is just really amazing in that, like, community, in that world, just in general. And, like, I didn't think that, like, watching a kink show was going to help me, like, just form better communication, not only with my partner, but with homies. Like, like you said, we've been trying to do this for, like, the last few weekends. And I was, like, not in, like, feeling the best headspace one weekend, and then my stomach was hurting, and I was just like, normally this would, like, really make me feel, like, bad for being just like, hey, I'm gonna put myself first really quickly, like, I just don't feel good, like, I don't want to, like, make you feel the same way that I do because of my energy.
Right.
And, like, it took me a really long time to do that. It's taken me at least, like, 2 to 3 years, but again, you're just, like, such an easygoing person in general.
Thank you.
Like, you, like, just fucking understand. So
I try to be you.
yeah, I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah. I try to be understanding. Yeah, that's something I've actually just, like, learned over the years, is just try to be more inquisitive, more understanding, and more patient. But this also segues into one of my next questions, is, like, things that you're doing, practices, exercises, things like that, to really help bolster your mental health and help, like, guide yourself through life as you're growing as a human and as a professional. Like, any tips or tricks or just things that you've learned over the years to really, like, get yourself back on that route when you're feeling like complete actual garbage. Like, especially like with me right now for the prep, like, I've never felt like so weak, like mentally and physically, because I started at like 170 pounds and now I'm down like 10 pounds. So it's just like, I feel like weak. I feel like stupid.
And that's a lot.
I mean, it's like not a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, like, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Just because, like, especially since I'm natural, so it's like if I was on like PEDs or something, it'd be a little different.
Yeah.
But not like drastically. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, just like anything you can like give it to anybody in terms of advice or, again, practices, tips, anything like that. Keep that mental health like in check, because as you see, like, in life now, that everyone's mental health is completely in the gutter. Like, you know, all these fucking tragedies going on, and people just like throw it to the wayside. They're like, oh, whatever, I'll just work harder or whatever. So anything you can give to the people?
Yeah. I actually have a quote written on one of my many mirrors in my house. It says, do things that will make your future self happy.
I like that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And whenever I am having like really hard days, I tend to look at it and just kind of like rethink like why I wrote it up there and like why I even like grab onto that quote. And for so long, I lived for others. And I was such a chronic people pleaser for like the longest time. And then whenever I stepped out of that era, almost like into my villain era, I like realized I was just like, holy shit.
The villainous arc, I like
Right?
that. Yeah, the revenge arc, I like that.
But like the nice revenge, like I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
really
yeah.
have anyone that I like wanted to go and like unfortunately backstab or anything like that. Like I didn't have like any revenge that I was seeking. It was just more of like
the revenge on yourself. To
Yeah.
be a better part of yourself. Yeah.
exactly, and be
So,
like,
prove it
bitch,
to
like what the
yourself.
fuck were you doing? Like why
Yeah.
were you like putting other people's first? And like I mean that's just who I am. Like I
course.
have so much love.
And you're a genuine person, and you're caring, and you like taking care of people. But
Thank you.
of course, I mean, like, I have a friend who's going through this right now too. Is that she's always, you know, making time for others and doing things for others, but putting her life to the side. It's like, you got to keep like numero uno in check. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you are first and foremost the most important thing in your life.
Exactly.
And then after that, everything else comes second.
Right? Like
But it's
nobody
like-
else pays your
yeah.
bills, no one else fucks you, like no one else feeds you, like
No.
it's
No.
all you.
No one else wakes you up in the morning and makes you go to work. No one
Yeah.
else fucking makes you drink that water. No one else makes you go to the gym. So it's like,
Exactly.
how are you going to take care of the people around you if you're crumbling?
Yeah.
So
100%. And I actually am working with someone currently who is just using me as like an accountability person. And she was going through a lot of the same things, like where she like didn't give time to herself and like was always hanging out with people and just like having all of these spontaneous plans. So like we have been working for like a few months, and throughout the few months that I've been working with her, we've gotten to the part where she is like now on greens. She feels a lot better mentally and like gut wise, and like she's
That's
journaling now and stuff like that. So like we're slowly getting to where she wants, but she was just trying to attack everything at once. And so I think that is like a lot of what people
Very
are trying to do. Like they're like, okay, I have all of these fucking shit show problems, and I just need to figure out one thing that can just make them all disappear. And sometimes, unfortunately, that like for some people is suicide, and like that's just them finally being selfish enough to be like, you know what, fuck everyone, like this is for me, like no one deserves me anymore. It was like really fucking dark. Jesus Christ. I like just realized that.
It's all good.
like, if you can find someone to, like, help you through those dark times, or just even, like, try small things. Like, I'm really bad at affirmations, and I'm really bad at journaling, but I'm really good at getting up and going to the gym. I'm really good at taking my greens. I'm really good at drinking water. I'm not the best at feeding myself, but, like, Rob helps me with that. So, like, there's just people that you have to center or kind of put yourself around and surround yourself with that can help you through that dark time. But if you don't have that person, like when I was going through those times, or if you're just like a really hard introvert, then shadow work would probably be like the best thing to look into.
And what is that?
Just kind of like looking into like your childhood and like how you grew up and like the traumas that you were going through and like how like your parents raised you and stuff like that, because like that could potentially be like just helping like a lot of things, like why you don't want to go out in public, why you don't want to make friends, why you don't want to trust anyone to be your partner. Like, it could be something that you could be holding in internally that could be hurting you outwardly for a really long time.
Right, and it can give you a lot of introspective on yourself and why you feel this way, and like why you almost hit myself in the face with the mic because I'm an idiot. But like why you feel certain ways, like why you don't trust people. So it's like those underlying things in your life. And I also really like how you mentioned gut health, which is something that people don't really put a lot of thought into, is that the most hormones in your body are located in your stomach.
Oh yeah.
So if your stomach is all messed up, yeah, you're going to feel like shit. Like, even right now, like me going through prep, and I'm going to probably bring it up like a bunch more times, but it's just like the lack of nutrients and lack of food, like it's totally fucking up my sleep, like my mental health, and like my physical health. But like, you got to make sacrifices to look pretty on stage, right?
Yeah.
So it's
exactly.
like, I get it for now, but like, but it just like makes me appreciate that so much more now that when I'm not in prep, and we'd be like, all right, now I really need to take care of myself. Like, you know, I never really ate like super bad, but like now I'm like, do I need to be eating donuts every time, like every weekend? Like, no, probably not. Do I need to be eating Chick-fil-A 3 times a week? Like, no, probably not.
Yeah.
But goddamn, is it so good.
Right.
But like, you know, it's just like, before, like, you know, whenever I feel a certain way, I try to like stop in the moment, and it's tough, but I try to stop in the moment and think like, okay, why am I feeling this way? Especially with anxiety, I'm like, why am I feeling anxious? And it'll be like, the underlying cause is like, maybe I had way too much caffeine in the day because, you know, now that I'm not eating as much, I'm like overdosing myself on caffeine and try and keep myself like not as hungry. But then it's like, that's also part of why I like stopped really smoking weed, because it just got to a point where it's just giving me anxiety. I wasn't enjoying it. So I'm like, I just don't really smoke weed anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it every once in a while, but I used to, like, ever since I was in, like my senior year of high school, I was like smoking weed every single day up until about like 2 years ago, maybe even like maybe 2-3 years ago. But it just got to a point where I was like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. And again, I think with the mental health topic is your mental health is directly impacted by your physical health. So if you are drinking coffee all day, you're smoking vapes, you're not going to the gym, you're not doing any kind of exercise, yeah, you're probably going to feel like shit. So like then you're like sitting there and you're self-medicating with like marijuana and be like, oh, it makes me feel better. It's like, why don't you go outside and take a walk for 2 miles, drink some water, sit outside, like get some like vitamin D, read a book outside. Like, I can almost guarantee you, like, it's not going to fix everything, but it's going to make you feel at least a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're doing that consistently, you're going to feel better and better over time. And that anxiety is like, you're also going to keep yourself so distracted that you're not even going to have time to think about the anxiety.
Right. Yeah. For probably the rest of my life, I'm definitely going to say that greens has 100 saved my life. 100%. I forgot that word. Just because whenever I was starting my health journey, I had no idea what I was even doing. And whenever I was actually selling greens for a while for Arbonne, is whenever I started to like really feel the difference and just like really notice like, oh, my life isn't shit all the time. Like, my perception is just shit all the time. And then like I started noticing that I wasn't bloating anymore, and like my stomach didn't hurt as much and stuff like that. So it just felt all in general, like all together, just really good. And like the greens that I take now taste like fucking chocolate milk. So like you can't really
go wrong,
complain. Like,
that's
like it helps you. Exactly.
Right.
It helps you. It makes you happy. It helps clear up my face. But yeah, I always tell
your
people.
Skin looks great.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course.
I always tell people that like your gut is your second or your first brain, and your brain is honestly your second brain. And
100%.
Just a lot with like, I've been my sibling has a partner who is not vegan, and the whole entire household is vegan. And so Lucius got downstairs the other day and ate like a whole entire fucking turkey leg.
Would they just leave it on the counter or something?
Yeah, they literally just left it like on the like centerpiece table or whatever. They're not like very clean people down there.
The hell?
And so we definitely like sent a text message and we're just kind of like over people like buying for like animal abuse. Like it doesn't really seem like he cares and stuff like all that.
Right.
And
it's
so,
also just disrespectful in your home, like just
right.
Even if it wasn't like that, even if it was just food just being left out and your dog went and ate it, like it's like, dude, you know I have a dog in the house. Like the dog is a dog. They're gonna probably eat the food that you leave out. So it's like just be respectful and like put it away. I don't know. People are fucking shit.
They're a lot younger than us, so we have like a little bit of an age gap, which is totally fine. Like they're all really great people because it's my sibling and then a person we went to high school with and then Maddie's partner. So I mean, it's all people that we know. I would so much rather it be that way and have problems with people that like I know and love than have like a fight and
with randoms.
Yeah, and like worry about my dog constantly at home, like being poisoned or something like that. So
well, you can at least have those actual conversations with people that you know and trust.
Yeah,
you can work around them.
Yeah,
instead of if they're like randoms, it's like hard to have that conversation.
Right.
And that confrontation.
Yeah. But whenever going back to the gut health, whenever I had actually switched going vegan, I had also noticed that like it had helped with like a lot of my energy doing like the greens and stuff like that. So just like energy wise, sleep wise, that also feels really good. And then, what was I saying? Oh yeah, just digestion in general, because like I take it first thing in the morning, so like it kickstarts my system like immediately, and it feels great because like then I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day.
Right.
But a lot of the things that like in meats and stuff like that, animal just consumption in general, it's like listed as a carcinogen, like it will give you cancer. So, like, I don't, like, know 100% of the science behind it, but, like, I know that it's just, like, not good for your body, and, like, I know that people are be like, well, I need meat, like, I need meat in my diet. No, you don't. You do not need meat. To each their own, though, but, like, I was 100%, like, to each their own for, like, a really long time, and then whenever that, like, that thing with the roommate happened, and then, like, he just continued to bring in food, and there's, like, animal food all in their fridge and shit. I was just like, I can't, like, it's just so gross. So, but yeah, like Chris said, whatever you put in your body, like, how you treat your body, like, if you're eating Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, what the fuck? McDonald's, Taco Bell, like, you know, just literally having your body shit out all of this food that you're putting in, and then you're feeling like shit after, you should really put those pieces together and kind of, like, figure that out, so...
100%, and I do think diet is insanely important, and figure out whatever works for you. But I also do like, this is kind of like seamlessly like flowing into my next questions and stuff like that. I do like how you mentioned how when you first started out, you didn't really know what you're doing. So give me a little bit about how you started working out, like got into fitness and stuff like that, because I haven't really talked about it on my podcast, but the reason I actually started working out was like a super vain reason. I was 22 in college, and I was like, it was hard for me to talk to women. I mean, it still kind of is, but like, you know what I mean? I'm getting better at it, obviously. But it was like hard for me to talk to girls. So I was like, dude, if I get into lifting and get muscular, they're going to want to talk to me, right? Which doesn't work that way. It's actually only dudes who want to talk to you when you get muscular. So
how do you get so big?
Yeah, it gets to a point where like you get too muscular and women are like kind of turned off from you. Because like I've approached women at the gym and I'm like fucking like pumped up and shit. And they're just like,
your whole body looks like a penis vein.
Yeah, they're like, I have a boyfriend, even though they don't. But yeah, so like, how did you get into like working out, fitness, being healthy, and then kind of just like shaping your life around that?
Yeah, I actually got certified while I was working at a dispensary during COVID because we had ridiculous 13-hour shifts that we had to work.
That's insane. Yeah,
it was stupid. So I was literally just studying the entire time that I was like at work because I was just so over the people that I was working with, just everything that I was going through. I wasn't getting good money, and it just like was a waste of my time, it felt like. So I was just like, cool, I'm just gonna start something else. And I was like, I wonder if I could just, you know, be a personal trainer. And I put the down payment on my card and paid it off. I actually paid it off like probably like I think like 6 or 7 months ago, which was really cool. So that was a really good feeling.
That's huge.
Yeah, thank you. So
it's a nice car too, by the way.
A car?
It's a nice car. You need to put down payment on the car.
Oh yeah, I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I don't have a car.
No, it's a nice vehicle.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't get a car from ISA. Like, what the fuck?
No. You said you put it down payment on your car.
Yeah. So, it was just really nice to be able to like go back to school for something that I genuinely had an interest in. And then whenever I had started using all of the knowledge that I had, I was like, oh man, yeah, I could definitely do this.
Right.
And then I just kind of like went with it for about like maybe 2 or 3 years. It really helped me get out of my head for my depression and my anxiety. Really helped me feel better about myself and my body. And just in general, just made me feel like I actually had a purpose again. Because before I was just like, cool, like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just like slinging weed to people who like need it, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like, people need weed, people need medicine.
Right. 100%.
And like, I would love to just sit down and like chat with you for 30 minutes and figure out what kind of weed and what kind of strain, or if like you need a gummy instead of weed and stuff. So it's just been kind of more of like repetition, honestly, and just kind of learning. Form definitely would probably be the most important thing to concentrate in the very beginning.
I agree.
Just because I only pulled my muscles after like being in the field for a really long time. I just noticed that I've never pulled a muscle before then, but
was it just like pushing yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one was ego lifting after coming back from EDC and having COVID right after that. So I was out for 2 weeks.
Oh.
I pulled my back muscle. I was really upset.
Oh, yeah, I remember that happening.
Yeah. I was so pissed. I was like, I can totally do 315. No, you cannot.
Yeah.
Bitch, you cannot even hit for 275. Like, calm down. So, but just kind of going off the knowledge, because before I was just like always looking at girls who are on Instagram and stuff like that, and it turns out a lot of them have absolutely no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Oh my god. I know, 100%.
Yeah. That's also why I downloaded this app called Athena, which is a really cool app.
What is that?
It's kind of like a fitness Facebook.
Okay.
But it's only it's not only for people who like do fitness, but it's for people who like are like legitimate about fitness
More
and like
professional.
are not like more professional. So like, I don't think C-Bum's on there. I don't think like a lot of the bigger names are on there. It's more for people who are like there for the community and stuff.
Right,
Like you can share like your progress
I like
and
that,
like
yeah.
it's a really cool app. I love it a lot. So I've really been enjoying that. I've been trying to kind of almost replace that with Facebook just because it's like less toxic.
Facebook is literal like
shit. It's just such garbage.
Yeah, there's some shit I want to say, but I'll refrain. But yeah, no, it's just like so stupid. The only reason I have it is like I feel like the most reason people have it is their family. But like I'll see shit on there. I'm like people still post on this shit. Like
right?
what is this?
Like how is this real? Are we in real life? This is a simulation.
It's straight booty cheeks, and like the fact that Facebook and Instagram are so like the same thing that like also makes me kind of sick too. But like Instagram is like one of my biggest social media platforms. Not saying I'm a big social media anything, but it's like the bigger social media platform that I post on. So it's like I don't know what else to do. Like what else am I gonna go for? But
same. That's what it was for me too. I was like so afraid to like step back from Instagram and just like not make content for the longest time because I was just like, I don't know what else to do.
Right.
Like I don't know what I'm supposed to use this for. And I was like, yes you do, bitch. Scroll down. What were you using it for before? Like selfies and shit.
Use it for pure entertainment.
Exactly. And like sharing your life and like containing your like collecting your life and just being able to like look back at it. So yeah. Like even today whenever I was working out with Gabby, she's like, do you want me to record you? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like I just don't really like have a reason to post anything. Like if I'm gonna be pulling heavy weight, like if I'm like squatting like 110 pounds, like fuck yeah. Like I would love that, but I'm just doing back cross flies. Like it's fine. Like I really don't need it.
I think that's one thing is that like I'm just trying to be as consistent as possible to try and grow like a somewhat of a following just because I enjoy it and I enjoy putting out the content. I'm like at like 850 followers on Instagram, and it's mostly dudes and it's mostly bots, but you know, whatever, it is what it is.
Numbers are numbers.
Yeah, numbers are numbers. We'll take that. I didn't pay for any of them, so we'll take that. So I'm trying to get to like at least 1,000 by the end of the year, but it's just like you find that consistency, but it is hard to stay in that grind and like just keep putting out content, putting out shit. But this also like flows into my next question is like things in the fitness industry that you don't like trends, like things like that bother you that you've noticed, like where it's like people you see in person or people you see online and things that just kind of bug you where it's like it shouldn't be this way, or like you just like this is like a not toxic, but like this is like a negative trait that like people shouldn't be portraying or people shouldn't be really propping up. And for example, like I just see a lot of people out there just putting out content for the sake of like I'm gonna fucking blow up, like I don't need my motherfucking 9-to-5 job, all this shit, like and not actually like really being a personality where they put their personality to the wayside just to have like sick aesthetic photos, and like that's cool too, but it's also like that's not like longevity wise, like that's not going to help you out. Like maybe you'll blow up for 2 years make a little bit of money, but then after that, like, if you have nothing else to bring to the table, like, no one really cares. Like, when you brought up, like, C-Bum, like, he started off just being, like, sick fucking physique, like, amazing competitor, and then he started leaning heavy into his own personality, where he was doing a lot of YouTube podcasts, his own branding. So now it's like, not only does he look amazing, but, like, you know his personality, and you know what he brings to the table, instead of just being, like, a stoic dude with fucking massive muscles.
Yeah. Definitely, like, one of the only people, too, that I know that is in the fitness industry that just, like, as soon as I think of fitness, I'm like, oh, cool, C-Bum.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know anyone else, like, off the top of my head. Like,
he also seems so genuine and, like, a good person, whereas, like, if you just, like, look sick, like, people can't really infer on what you are in terms of a person.
Yeah, I definitely had I mean, I'm going to just ask you because you can get this out.
Yeah.
Do you remember Moog from Choose? The really big, tall fucker? Like, super tall, like, really ripped, covered in tattoos.
Is he, like, Russian or, like, something like that?
I don't know. I think he's white. But he might have, like, some ethnicity, like, within him.
I think I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of dude that, like, kind of irritates me because, like, he won't talk to anyone.
You got no personality?
No personality except for weights.
The gym is his personality?
Yeah. And, like, he's 100% natural, which is, like, great.
That's
but, like, like, it's just all of his personality, and, like, now that I'm saying that, I was like, wow, it's my personality, too. Like, you're a fucking bitch. Like, well, yeah, of course, but, like, it's because I'm noticing it because I'm outside of it, but,
that other perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Things that definitely I don't like in the fitness world. Whenever I started, actually, if you go back, like, really far down on my Instagram, I used a sweet sweat, sweet sweat. It's the band that you, like, put on.
Yeah, one of, like, it's not like a waist trainer, but it's like a sweat-inducing
band
around your waist,
I was literally addicted to that thing. It was, like, it made me sweat, it was amazing, I loved it, and it gave me somewhat of the results that I was looking for, but then whenever I realized that it wasn't really doing anything except for, like, what a sauna basically does, just, like, 30 times faster, I was just like, wow, this is, like, a waste of my money. But, like, at the time, it, like, gave me, like, the results that I wanted. It definitely made me, like, look slimmer. Yeah, it made me look slimmer. Yeah. It felt really good to put it on to, like, work out and then, like, to take it off and just be, like, glistening in sweat. Like, it was a really good time at the time that I had it. Yeah. But now I see women wearing them, and I'm just like, girl, you're not doing anything, I promise you. Like, you're just losing, like, water weight. Like, if you were to just engage your core while you were doing all of your workouts, you'd get abs faster that way.
Right, and also, like, good cardio, too.
Yeah.
Is there, one thing I always wonder about those, is there any, like, negative benefit to that of, like, hyper dehydration? Because, like you said, it makes you sweat faster than it normally would. So, like, if you're not properly hydrating, can you, like, get, like, heat stroke or, like, something from that? Or, like,
I would imagine so. Or even, like, a heat rash.
Yeah.
From, like, you, like, dehydrating, but, like, being so hot and sweaty at the same time. Like, especially it just creates a rash.
Yeah, if you're in an area that's, like, if you're, like, outside or, like, you're working out really hard or, like, somewhere that doesn't have good air conditioning, I feel like that could, like, heavily dehydrate you to a point that could be, like, I don't know, harmful. Because, like, I'll be at the gym and I'm slamming, like, 60 to 100 ounces of water. Yeah. But I'll see people, like, not even take a sip of water.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing, dog? Like,
it's like the new craze, or not craze, like the new group of, like, rave people. Like, if you're so elite, if you don't take a Camelback to raves anymore. And I'm like, what? No, that is, like, not a level of eliteness. It's just, like, almost like a level of stupidity. There's no way that your body can hold on to that much water. Yeah. Like, throughout the entire day. Like, whenever I go to festivals, like, that bag right there has, like, at least, like, maybe 2 liters in it, and I'm filling it probably, like, every hour.
Right, as you should. It's also, like, if you're, because I'm not really big into drugs or anything like that, and I don't have anything against, do whatever you want to do. Obviously not saying anything against you, but it's what people don't think about is when you're taking all those, like, you need to be flushing them out of your body. So if you're not, like, constantly, and I don't want to be vulgar, if you're not, like, constantly urinating or whatever, like, it's going to stay in your body and it's going to rot away in there. So it's, like, long-term effects, like, for the short term, like, it's not going to kill you, but you should be cycling all of that out, especially, like, if you think about the amount of water that your body holds. If you're dehydrated and you have all those drugs in your system the next day, like,
it's just going to soak up all of that, and you're going to be, like, doing whatever you took for, like, the longest fucking time.
Right, and it's just going to have negative impacts on your body and, like, your mood and your hormones as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, like just like the level of hydration, and again, when we're talking about how your gut health,
Mm-hmm.
it's like those chemicals are sitting in your gut,
Yeah.
and there's nothing flushing them out. Like, probably not good for the long term, you know?
Right.
So it's like, again, nothing against all that, but it's like I think a lot of the stigma and like a lot of thing around it is like a lot of people who go to like raves and stuff like that and then indulge in all those drugs, they don't think about like how they could be doing it in a more effective and healthier way.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, dude, like even when you go out drinking, like if you're not drinking water while
Oh my
you're
God.
like drinking alcohol or even smoking weed, like
Yeah.
I don't know, like people go with cotton mouth or whatever. It's like, yeah, I get that too, but like that's also you just mad dehydrated.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to be hydrated as much as possible. I mean, when I'm about to step on stage, you're gonna be the most dehydrated individual ever. You know, you ever
Yeah.
see those commercials for the Raisin brand commercials where the guy's like 2 scoops, and he's got the 2 scoops. He had the sunglasses. He looks like a big dried raisin because he is one. That's what I'm gonna look like. I'm gonna be all like spray tanned up, looking like a raisin with a
Yes.
doofy ass smile.
I love that.
But jokes aside, is that like I think people don't really fully understand how hydration is like super important.
Oh yeah, no, water's like the ultimate adult drink, like ever.
Yeah.
Like you can't really do anything to it unless you like want to flavor it. Like
Sparkling water's the shit too.
yeah,
Like polar seltzer.
I've not really been like a sparkling person.
Ever since I started on prep, I'm addicted to energy drinks, sparkling waters, seltzers. Dude, it's just like, because I'm just like fighting the cravings of sweet foods.
Yeah.
And I literally, hold on, I'll show you right now. I shit you not, I have a list of food places I want to go to, and it's like 20 places long.
There's I'm gonna
like-
have to send you this TikTok of
It's
a
like sickening.
of a sweet snack that you may be able to have.
All of those, it's just like all.
Jesus Christ.
I know, it's just dumb. And I'm not even going to eat all that. It's just like,
He's
it's,
like, I just want to go in and
Yeah.
smell it.
it's just helping me get through it because I'm just thinking of all the things. Like, I don't even really eat that bad when I'm off prep, you know, and it's like, I guess off season or whatever, even though this is my first like bodybuilding competition, so I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about. But, like, I don't even really eat that bad. Like, I'll usually give myself like one like free meal like a week. So it's like, you know, on the weekends or something like that, I'll eat all my normal meals and then like I'll substitute one of those meals with like something that's still like not 100% good for you, but like high in protein, but that tastes good. Like say I'll go to like Rotary up the street, which is like they do like a rotisserie chicken kind of deal. I'll like, or like sometimes I'll go to fucking Lamar's and get some donuts or something, and those are obviously trash for you. But it's like if I'm on point like 90 to 95% of the time, like finding that balance I think is like super key.
Oh yeah, and then your body like can definitely respond in a really good way and like or a bad way. It doesn't
Yeah.
I mean it could go either way. But another thing just popped in my head, it was another trend or like another thing in the fitness world that I don't really agree with. My last coach was very into the no one cares, work harder aspect. That is fucking bullshit. We care. Don't work harder.
Yeah, and it's like I see a lot of people like that, and like I follow a lot of like podcasts and YouTubers and stuff like that who are like the hyper successful, hyper busy, like, you know what I mean, like Joe Rogans and shit like that. And they're all like insanely busy 100% of the time. And that works for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. So it's like you see people like Christian Guzman, who owns Alpha Elite, and like he's insanely busy all the time. He's got all these businesses, he's got all these things going on, and he's also prepping for bodybuilding shows at the same time. Like it's insane. Not everybody can do that. You burn yourself out. I get it. Like I think everyone has the capacity to work a little bit harder, but it's like you need to again find that balance and realize like, again, what am I doing this at the end of the day for? Like, and then is me pushing myself even harder going to negatively impact myself? Because like I'll bring this back to like what I'm doing now is just that like I could probably be pushing myself even harder, but it's like, is it worth it to be completely like blown out on stage and look like shit? Or if I just follow the process that my coach has laid out right now and just kind of go with it, I'll probably bring a better package because I'll have better mental health as well. Which again, your mental health directly impacts your physical health, and it also impacts your physique. So if your hormones and you're like are in the toilet, you're depressed and you're fucking...
Or you're distressed.
Yeah, and your mental health is all over the place. Like, you're probably going to hold more weight in certain areas. You're probably not going to get, like, good lifts, shit like that. So it's like, I think one thing that I'm trying to implement in my life is work harder, but also work smarter and not overwork myself and figure out where I can really put more effort in. Because, again, like, when it comes to coaching, like, I kind of get it where they're just like, sometimes you have to be like that, where it's like, stop fucking complaining, just work harder.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, you have to realize, like, some of the people you're dealing with too, it's not always appropriate. Like, if I'm dealing, like, say I'm a coach, I'm dealing with, like, IFBB pro Olympians.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably tell them, like, shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah, like, you're not sleeping tonight. Sorry, you're doing cardio.
Yeah, like, you're working harder. You know what I mean? You want to win, right? But then it's also, like, again, the balance. Whereas if it was me, I'd be like, look, like, we need to push right now, but then we're gonna have a conversation later and be like, look, like, this is how we need to take steps so you don't have to be at that point where it's like, if you're working consistently throughout the year or working consistently throughout the prep, you don't have to, like, really push yourself within the last 2 weeks. It's just a gradual build. And like you said with your coach, is like the no one cares. It's like, well, those probably aren't the people that you want around you, right? Like, if I have a coach and they don't care, why am I paying them money?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like fucking, it's counterproductive. Like, the coach I'm working with right now, like, I've only been working with him for a little while, but he, like, actually cares.
Yeah.
And if he didn't, I wouldn't fucking pay him the money. You know?
Right.
And it's like, some people just, like, go for coaching because of the name or whatever, but it's like, your coach needs to, he's always checking in with me too. He's like, how's the mental health? He's like, how's the cravings? Like, how are you sleeping? Awesome. Shit like that. So he's like, if you're not feeling good, like, because my sleep's been all over the place and I'm taking melatonin, he's like, you know, turn your phone off like an hour before you try and go to sleep. He's like, get some melatonin. He's like, maybe smoke a little weed if it helps you out. He's like, but we want to make sure that, like, that's in a good spot, because he knows that, because he's been competing before, he knows that mental health, like, can really dictate, like, how you're going to perform and how you're actually going to do for the rest of your life and all that shit. So,
and just, like, in general, like, the package that you're going to bring on show day, like, going up to that day, like, as soon as you told me the day that you were going to be walking the stage, like, I've been thinking, I'm like, okay, like, how is he going to, like, show up? Like, what's the mindset he's going to be in? Like, how can I help him as this camera person? Like, can I bring him water? Like, what can I do to, like, make that this, like, is so stress-free for you? Because, like, that is such an intense, like, thing. You're literally getting judged by people. Like, that is so crazy.
Up there in my underwear, wearing fucking chocolate body spray tan.
Right, yeah. Just, like, getting fucking judged by people, like, after being told your whole entire life that, like, no judgment really matters. And you're just like, I've worked my ass off for, like, the last 9 months to have somebody just judge me, and, like, I'm not tight enough in my quads or whatever, and like, that is just gonna ruin me for the rest of the year. But it's just, like, whenever you get to the point of, whenever I was asking for, like, help and stuff, she's just like, well, like, it took me a really long time to get here, and I was just like, that's not really,
not
like,
your journey though.
No, I was like, I need your help to figure out, like, why this is my reason. Like, I need your help to figure out, like, I know my why, but, like, I forgot, and, like, maybe I just need to be reminded, like, how badass I am, or like, and she definitely, like, highlighted other people on the team, like, made them her favorites, and I was just like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like, it's just so toxic. Coaching. And I actually found, like, a whole entire, like, Reddit thread about her, and I was like, huh!
You're like, damn, I wish I found this sooner.
Right? Yeah, I was just like, this is insane. But yeah, I definitely, like you said, I went with, like, the big name and just, like, how her physique looked, and like the fact that, like, her team was just, like, a really, like, it was called the A-Team, so, like, that sounded fucking cool. Like, it's like sick. A 80s show. Like, I would love to be on
Mr.
the A-Team.
T.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
he had all those fucking chains and the mohawk.
Yeah, and the fucking van, like, yeah. So definitely whenever, and a lot of the girls that were on my team changed shortly after I left to a different coach. So it was just like, damn, I, like, came in right at the nick of time.
Yeah, I had the same realization.
Yeah, so definitely, like, if you are going into bodybuilding, like Chris and I'm currently taking a break just because of financial reasons, but if you go into bodybuilding, make sure you vibe with your fucking coach. Because if you don't, it will make it the most stressful and awful prep of your entire life. Like, I never got to prep. I was with my coach since February, and I left her, I think, around, like, the 4 or 5 month mark, and I looked really good. I was in, like, amazing shape, but I was nowhere close to being into prep or even being, like, accepted into prep. She was not telling me anything. And so I was just like, are we going for a goal weight? Like, are we, like, gaining tissue? Like, what are we doing? So she just, like, never told me anything. So communication, vibing with your coach, and just, like you said, mental health. The fact that your coach checks on your mental health before anything, like, blows me away. I love that. I absolutely love that. It makes me want to get back into coaching, but I have to remember that, like, I've got to live for myself for a little while because I've been doing this for so long. I've lost so much stuff because I was just like, nope, I'm going to be at the gym for 2 hours. Can't go to dinner. Like, I can't do stuff with Rob, or, like, he's now, like, balls deep into video games and fucking like music because I'm always at the gym.
Right,
so like you said, you have to find that balance, and it's really hard. So I'm like still trying to find it, and I'm slowly getting there. But like every once in a while, I get thrown off the fucking teeter-totter, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Well, it's also like you said with the finances too, is that you really want to shop the market and don't just go for big names just because of the results or whatever, because everyone has different coaching styles, and everyone, I mean, your way of learning and your process isn't always going to mesh with someone who's a big fucking name or you know puts out a lot of good results. So and again, finances, like, just because this person is like renowned or whatever, like, if it doesn't work for you, don't sit there and keep paying them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is not fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And if it's a cheap coach, then it's probably not going to be good. Not saying like it can't be good, but you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But it's also
looks
like
sketchy if it's not like worth it.
Yeah,
Like.
and it's also don't overpay. So it's like before you get into anything like that, I would definitely shop around. Like ask some people. Like if you know anybody that competes, like ask around, because most people I know that have competed, they're not always with the same coach for like their entire life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like a boxing situation where like, you know, you see these boxers come up and like they're like, yeah, my dad was my coach forever.
Right.
Like, oh, was your dad a boxer? No. Like it's just weird. Like, so your dad's your main coach, but he's never been in a pro boxing match. You know what I mean? It's just weird.
Right.
So it's like, first off, find out if this is something you really want to do, and second off, really put the time and investment into finding someone that works for you and your best fucking learning style. And there's no shame with being like, you know, you're done with a coach and you're like, all right, I want to go try something else. You know, just have that conversation with them and like, hey, look, I want to shop the market, whatever. If they fucking, you know, treat you like shit after that, then it just goes to prove that you made the right decision and you left them. If most people they're probably going to be understanding, be like, hey, look, I understand. Yeah, I completely get it. But there are some people out there who take advantage of others and do the coaching thing just to be like, I've got like a big social media following. People want to have a sick physique like me, so I'm going to give them really basic information, and they're going to fucking, you know,
milk it. Just love it.
Pay me $300 a month or whatever the fuck. So you got to find people who actually care, and actually want to do good work, and it's trial and error, and you got to find people you know that you can trust and go from there. But I mean, there's also a lot of stuff you can learn on your own as well. Oh yeah. That I feel like people like are too quick to go to coaching. Like I started lifting when I was 22. I didn't get a coach until I was fucking now, like 28, 29.
I'm aged now.
So it's like a lot of what I learned was like on the job training, and then just like stuff from like YouTube, looking it up online and stuff like that, and just like learning hands-on experience and shit like that. So again, if it's a heavy financial investment, so you just want to take it carefully. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to fucking sign a lease on a house that's a shithole. But, you know, it's just, you want to do some research into that and be totally sure it's something you really want to do.
Yeah, it was getting to the point to where, like, because my payments were coming out on the 9th, which was, like, 8 days after my rent was being paid. Ugh. So rent was getting pulled. Brutal. And then 8 days later, my coaching was getting pulled. So, like, I was left with, like, $50 each week. Ugh. And I wasn't working somewhere where I was getting paid weekly. So, like, it was starting to get really hard to where I was just, like, I am now getting into this spiral, and money's always been a big trigger for me of where I'm like, okay, cool, like now I'm useless because I'm not making money, and now I make all this money, and then it gets completely taken away from me, but it's because I'm doing something that I want. Yep. And then I was just like, do I really want this anymore? And I'm like, it's just getting to where I can't live. I'm literally living for her, and she's not helping me. So finances and saving your money. Save all of your money. Right. All the pennies.
Again, there's so much you can learn on your own. And I don't think coaching is like necessarily 100%. Like, you need it. It definitely helps. Oh, especially for like what I'm trying to do right now. It definitely helps because I've never done this before. But it's like there's so much, like, if you're not stepping on stage, or like you're like not like, I mean, if you're like completely unable to like learn or understand on your own, which I don't think, I feel like 99% of people are completely able. They're just lazy. Yeah. So it's like you can learn so much, especially, and like you said earlier in the podcast, form is 100%. Yeah. I see so many people in the gym with the worst form, just throwing weight around. Yes. And I'm like, bro, you're 35 years old and you are curling 40-pound weights like a fucking ape. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you are gonna have tennis. You're gonna have tennis elbow in 2 months. Yeah. And I'm like, whatever, dude. I'm also at a point now, like, I was there at the gym today, and I was just so mentally and physically drained just from this whole prep, and I'm like watching this dude curl, and like, I don't know if he saw the look on my face or what, but I was just like, ugh. I was like, homie, like
big eye roll.
Yeah, I was like, homie, let me give you 5 seconds of my time and just show you. But this is also like, I'm not all encompassing, I'm not all knowing, but it's like just like from years of experience that I have is like I can guarantee you I could probably teach that guy within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That'd probably change his whole fucking life.
Right? Just help him out a little bit.
Yeah, but he thinks he's gonna be the next Arnold and he's throwing around 40. I'm like, dude, drop it down to 20s and work on form, and I guarantee you're not only gonna feel better, but you're gonna look 10 times better.
Yeah. I have a patron. I don't even work at the gym anymore, but I have a person who goes to my gym, and I've seen her multiple times, but she'll be on the lat pull down, and it's like one of the like Smith assisted lat pull downs, and she will throw her body back. Like she will be laying down on the actual bench, holding onto the lat pull down, and let it yank her back up and pull it back down. I'm just like,
she's gonna fuck her back up. She's gonna slip a disc or something.
Right? I was like, I should be the person to tell her how to do this because none of the employees here know anything.
Yeah,
like,
they also don't care enough.
No, they do not.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not like the form police, but I don't like feel like the kind of guy to go, like, I feel like it's weird to go around to people and be like, hey man, you should try it this way.
That's
like,
wrong.
I've only done that a couple times in my life, and one of them was I was like at the gym and there was like actual high schoolers there and they were benching, and I was like, bro, let me give you 5 seconds of my time before you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
I just kind of taught him like proper bench form, and I was like, look, you gotta not like, because you ever see the kids who just let it like slam down on them as fast as possible and try and blast it back up?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're gonna get hurt really, really bad. Like it's gonna land on your
heart.
It's gonna land on your sternum and like cave your chest in. So it's like, on a bench press, you want to slow and controlled on the way down.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do any kind of exploding movement, you explode up.
Yeah.
Because that's like one of the least ways you can hurt yourself. But you don't want to. I see people pull out the bar and they just let it drop. And I'm like, dude, not only is that like terrible form and you're not getting like proper contraction, but it's insanely dangerous.
Right?
Like,
you can like.
it also just looks mad
habitate
stupid.
yourself.
Yeah, it looks mad stupid. But let's get on to the next question here. So, this one's actually kind of good. So, current goals for health and like professionally. So like your professional life, your health-wise life, like do you have any current goals that you really like are working towards or currently trying to like achieve, things like that?
Yeah, currently I'm working with Argus. I don't know for how much longer, but it would be really great to move up in that realm. It's event staff for a lot of the shows that we have here in Denver. So I could either move up to like a supervisor position, which would be really cool, or I could like move into like actual production of like the stages and stuff.
That's awesome.
So I really enjoy people watching. I just like love watching people just like have a good time, you know, fall in love all over again. Like I'm just really observant, so I just really enjoy that.
Right.
So it's like the first job that I've actually wanted to like move up in the corporate ladder. But I did also just again get my med badge so I could start selling weed again.
Nice.
In the dispensaries, just because it's again something that I'm really good at, and it's still me using my purpose of like helping people to get the job done and to also get paid. So right now I would say professionally just trying to like, you know, make money because like I'm so dry and I feel awful, but I know that like something good is going to happen and I'm just gonna like have a surplus or just like an abundance of money, or like something's gonna take off for me because like I've been this way since I have been able to work, and it's just like it's not fun living paycheck to paycheck and just like feeling absolutely that's so cute feeling absolutely just like shit. Like it's not how a person is supposed to live their teen lives into their like early 20s, but it's definitely a lesson for sure. So just definitely money management would be something that I want to learn, and have like a really big goal. I want to be able to hold on to my finances by myself instead of having my dad be attached to them still. And then probably just be able to like move into like a legit place for Rob and I for like a good couple of years, just to like, you know, not necessarily like settle down, but just like have somewhere that we can call our own and just like chill for a fat fucking second. Like I'm just like tired of moving. I'm tired of like having roommates. I'm tired of just like not just having a backyard. I have mulch in my backyard. Yeah. So it's a lot of different things on my palette, but I've got a good pathway so far. So
well, it seems like you're definitely setting yourself up by like branching out and having all these different avenues that you can actually make money and do things in, and I think it's really important to actually have that and be well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said with the home, it's just you want a place where you can actually build yourself,
Yeah.
not like build the home, but you're building yourself while living in that home. And I found that peace of mind and where you're living is super important for physical and mental health. So it's like if you're in a location, whether it be like a state or city or home or something like that, that you really resonate with and that really gives you that feeling of comfort, you really start to come into your own and you really start to grow as a person. Because before where I'm living now, I was living in a situation that it was terrible for me mentally and physically. I just didn't like my roommate. It was a random I met off fucking Craigslist, and I don't want to go too into it because like I don't dislike the guy, but his living style and all that shit was just like horrendous, and I just didn't like bringing people over because the place was a mess. It smelled. He was gross. Like, and I didn't want to bring girls over because they're like, what the fuck's going on here?
Right,
you know?
like this is your house.
Yeah, and like I mean, so it's I go back there to sleep and like live, so it's like having that like mental like block of like I don't even want to fucking be here.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and then you carry that with you throughout your day, and you're like asshole to people that like don't even. Yeah, because you're just reflecting of where you're living. Yeah,
then I go home and like, fuck, I don't even want to see this guy, so I just go into my room as fast as possible and hope I don't bump into him. So it's like having a place to live that definitely feels like your own and your comfort and your space is 100% important for everything going forward in your life. You know what I mean? If you want anything, you need to look at your living conditions.
Yeah.
So it's like you build out and can expand upon that. But again, I think you're setting yourself up really good because I've never been good. I'm almost fucking 30. I've never been good with money. You know what I mean? Like, I make decent money right now, but like I'm not good at managing any of that money. You know what I mean?
Holding on to it's so hard, dude.
It's so fucking hard, especially with inflation and everything's so expensive. I mean, I got rent, I got bills, I got coaching, I got like food, and then I got like other shit. You know what I mean? I got like supplements, like protein, and then there's like sometimes I want to fucking treat myself and buy some new gym gear and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and again with the content, I'm trying to lean more into that. So I'm like looking into getting a new PC, new computers, new mics, new monitors, headsets, all that shit. So it's like nothing's cheap anymore. So it's again with that good positive mental attitude, and then again one thing I wanted to mention, didn't mean to cut you off, was really manifesting that. So it's like you said, you could see it, you could feel it coming up that you're gonna have like a surplus of money, you're gonna be in a good spot. So it's like you really need to focus in on that positivity and be like, for me, like personally, I'm like thinking about this content shit. I'm not expecting it to blow up and I'm going to make millions of dollars, but I can feel it. Like if I keep manifesting, if I keep having a positive mental attitude, like something good is going to happen where I'm going to enjoy it more. I'm going to fall in love with it more, and maybe it will come into a career opportunity. I don't fucking know yet.
Yeah.
But if I don't do it, I'm never going to know.
Exactly.
So I might as well fucking do it and just stay as positive as possible. And it's not negatively impacting my life.
Right.
So like, there's no point in me being like, fuck, like my podcast's never going to take off, bro. Like,
right. Or like,
Liquid Death and Liquid Death and Trojan Condoms is never going to give me a fucking sponsorship, dude. Like, well, dude, I shouldn't go into it with those expectations, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And just like in general with like coming home into like your area, like we have a whole entire setup like for our computers, and we have gaming chairs, and we have the like lights and stuff underneath there, and so like it feels really cool to come home and just like kind of
unwind, have that recreation, have that place where you can like. Sometimes it's just important to turn your brain off.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially when you're working so hard, you got all this shit going on. It's like sometimes like, again, like grinding and working hard I think is important, but if you're overworking yourself, like you're never going to be able to work even harder. Burn. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like having a place to like, because with me, like with anime and like I'm watching like streams and stuff like that, like it's just like mindless, like enjoyment. You know what I mean? And it's just like I need that sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially now when I'm on prep, like I need like to take something to take the anxiety off, like for me to stop thinking about how nervous I am and like how like if I fuck up, like I'm not gonna like I'm gonna let myself down, like I'm gonna let my coach down, like all my friends and family who have been telling about this, they're gonna be like, bro, you got up on stage and look like shit, you know? And it's like, oh, it's all my fault. So I just need something to kind of like disassociate for a little bit, but
you can take that if you need to.
No, it's okay. She's fine. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, it's just like having like a place to unwind and really kind of relax is definitely important, because I do think grinding hard and working hard, especially when you're young, is very important. But it's also, again, we keep bringing up balance. I think it's super important. So it's like if you're like 6 days on, give that one day off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like give that one day where you're just completely detached.
Yep.
And just give yourself that time to recharge that battery. Especially like if you're like an introvert or like an extrovert or something like that. Just finding that battery recharge and being able to be like, hey, look, like I just need this one day or this 1 hour or this one half a day or maybe even a fucking week of time.
Yeah.
But like you did remember to come back into it and be like, all right, it's time to work again.
Yeah, however long it takes you to fill your cup, like don't let anyone else push you to fill faster. Because I mean, you know yourself better than anyone else, especially like with you, like what you said, like fucking up when going like on stage and like letting your coach down. Like we're all here to support you. Like we're here for you, and so like those days where you're like, okay, like I know I can do this, or like I have like mad prep brain right now. You're just like, I have so many people who are here for me. Like that's all that matters, honestly. Like I'm just gonna fill my cup a little bit more today.
I like that.
And like as soon as you get to like the
Keep talking. I just open the door for the real
You're good. And so like as soon as you get to like the very top, that's whenever you can like start, you know, giving little 10%, 20%, or however much percentage of like your energy, your love, your laughter, your time to people. Because once you figure out how to like, you know, hold on to that energy and like use it for yourself and kind of percentize in certain areas, you know, like family 5%, or like family 30%, gym 5%, anime 5%. So you just have to like make sure that you're giving yourself enough time.
100%. I mean, I just jumped back in this, but you do need to find again that balance, give yourself that time, and really like think about what's important to you. And it's like if your career and your health is the most important thing, think about taking your rest just as seriously.
Yeah, because like like even in my thing this morning for my zodiac sign, it says if you had to have the car that you have now for the rest of your life, how much better care of it would you take?
That's true. And it's also like, think about your body. You've only got one body, so it's like you have this body and this brain for the rest of your life, so you should be taking better care of it. But
exactly.
And then going into like the rest and the
are we doing closure right now?
No, we're not.
Okay.
We can keep going, but I was going to go into my next question was like, I don't know if you're an avid reader or anything, but if you have any books or anything like that you want to recommend, because I'm trying to get into reading, but like I'm a straight like Neanderthal idiot, and it's like really hard for me to sit down and like keep myself like accountable to read. It's like really hard for me to sit there and read, so I end up like reading like more manga, which is obviously just like comics.
I still reading.
Really reading though, but like, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather
there's words.
I'd rather but that's like not like, you know what I mean, real substance in terms of books. So it's like, you have any books you'd recommend?
Yeah.
Or like ebooks or anything like that?
I'm currently reading like an actual book. It's called The Fifth Wave. So it's about, kind of sounds like right now that the world has these undercover aliens who are like
It's fiction?
Yeah, okay. I think so.
Okay.
Did I just say that?
I heard undercover aliens. I'm assuming it's fiction, but I just wanted to double check. It's called The Fifth Wave.
Yes, it's called The Fifth Wave. I'm almost done with this, so if you want to borrow it, you can.
Hell yeah.
But basically, they imprinted like these people, or like these meat suits that are supposed to be aliens, and they are like the military, so they're like going off and killing like the entire world basically. But they took the kids, and Sam is the person who like gets away. And,
is that the main character?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she gets away, and so she's like trying to like kill all of these people, and then she like gets saved, but her brother gets taken and goes to this camp. And so I'm now getting to the part whenever her brother is getting into like the part of the book. But yeah, it's like super trippy. Like they're undercover aliens, and it's like super weird because like it sounds a lot of like what we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, it's like a lot of metaphors with like what's going on right now.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's just a book. It's just a book. It's just a book. This is not telling me my future, because it's like, it's a really good book. It's like really intense. I love fiction. I just love things that tell stories.
Right.
Same with my video games. Like I love Kingdom Hearts, like God of War, just like anything that has like a story for me to follow. Like I really enjoy that. It just like I don't have ADHD or like anything like that, but it just like pulls my mind towards it. So that's one that I've been holding on to for a really long time. The thing with books, though, I told this to Rob yesterday, is that if you even genuinely pick up a book, just hold on to it. Like if you're at like Goodwill or at like the bookstore, just hold on to it, because something drew you to that book cover. That was like you needed it or something. So like I have probably like maybe 6 or 7 books that I haven't even picked up or like even started reading, just because I picked them up at Goodwill and I was like, cool, I like just want this book. Because whenever you start reading, you're going to get to a point to where like you're going to hate a fucking story. You're just like, I can't read this anymore, and you're going to want to pick up a completely different book. So, hi.
How's it going?
So just have that range, especially like from fiction. And I have like a lot of Tom Clancy's. My mom was a huge Tom Clancy person. And then I have a lot of self-help books. I have this really boring communication book that I've like tried reading like 4 times, and I get to page 12 and I can't do it. Like,
is that bad?
Yeah, it's just so boring. Like whenever I'm reading it, I'm like, if you talk to the person with, I was like, that's what it sounds like whenever I'm reading it. Like it just has no life. Like
that's so funny.
I mean, self-help books aren't supposed to be like that, but I feel like self-help books are like...
Yeah, they're not all Gary V books where they're all like trying to like jazz you up.
Right, but I think they're like slowly getting into like that area where like, okay, like you're a bad bitch, like you can do this, like we can, like
people resonate with that too.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people with the self-help stuff, like they resonate with the more informative stuff too. Because what I've come to realize is like a lot of people who buy those self-help books are like a certain type of personality where they're like don't know how to express themselves, very bland, and they just want the straight facts. Like, this is how to approach people in public. You know what I mean? They're like, I never knew that. Or like, this is how to carry a conversation past 5 seconds. They're like, what? This is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But some people need like the relatability, and they need the people like to be like, you see their personality in their writing. But I think one thing I'm going to try and do is just carry a book on me, because if I don't have it with me, I'm not going to read it. So if I have a book on me at all times, there's going to be a point where I'm going to open it up and I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
So it's like if I don't have it like readily accessible, like with I have my phone, I'm always looking at my phone because I always have it on me. But if I have a book, I'm going to read it at some point. Like I'm not going to read it at all points of the day, every single day. But if I have it readily accessible, like it's going to be used. So I think that's like, for me, the best way to get into reading, because I just don't like, again, like for me, I have to like sit down and like arduously make it a task to try and read. And that's how it was when I was in like school and stuff like that. For like, you know, when you're in high school and they have like the mandatory reading and stuff like that. Like I like arduously had to sit down and be like, I gotta force myself to do this for an hour, because I know my teacher's gonna ask me about it tomorrow in class, and I'm gonna sound like a complete idiot because I didn't look at it.
Yeah.
So like, it's only like been a couple maybe like a handful of books that I read when I was a kid that I actually like really got into. One of them was like Aragon or whatever, the one with the dragons. And I remember I was like staying up late at night, like my mom was telling me to go to sleep, and I'm like under my blankets with the flashlight, like reading the book. I'm like, I don't want to stop. But like I haven't felt like that in a long time. So it's like I think I just want to just again have books on hand and just be like, I'm going to blast through this if I have it in my hand.
Yeah, so. I've definitely noticed too, like I don't like reading at home. I definitely get stuck on scrolling a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So what I've been trying to do is if I put on a timer, if I scroll for longer than 30 minutes, then I'll put my phone down and then I'll go and grab my book. But I've noticed a lot of the times whenever I'm like working at like shifts for Argus and I'm like just doing like artist stuff, like sitting at the artist gate or something like that, I go through my books so crazy. Like I read 4 chapters in like 2 hours the other day.
Like flying through it.
Yeah. So I think it's just more of like, because I have like an allotted 8-hour shift of like me just sitting around, it gets me more inclined and like more hyped and jazzed to actually read the book. But whenever I'm sitting at home, I would so much rather scroll for 4 hours until Rob gets home, and that's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, but it's also like you have to like think about it like mentally wise. Is like when you're at work, like you want to like you feel it more productive, right? When you're at home, you want to relax. So maybe just like shifting that mindset, and then just kind of like getting into a different environment in your home, like maybe a different room, or like maybe like surround yourself with something that's going to help you actually. That's going to help you actually want to read. You know what I mean? Where it's like, maybe it's like 4:00 at night and it's like, or afternoon, night for me, because I go to sleep at like 7. But you know what I mean? It's 4:00, it's like nice out. Go sit outside and you'd be like, damn, why do I want to sit on my phone? Like I don't. So then you'd be like, man, I want to read this book. You know what I mean? Like the dog's running around, you're just kind of enjoying it. And it's like, whereas I feel like it's so easy to sit inside and just have the screen in front of you all day and like not think about it. And even for me, like I get caught into it. Like before I go to sleep, I end up finding myself like sitting there scrolling on Instagram. I'm like, dude, what am I doing?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I should be trying to sleep right now.
Sometimes I almost want to like attach or like hide. It sounds so creepy of me. I want to like hide a camera in like a area that Rob constantly hangs out because he is always looking at a screen, always looking at a screen, and
it's hard,
he says that he has ADHD, and it's like it's not like I don't believe him.
But looking at the screen isn't helping.
But he's like constantly looking at the screen, watching Facebook videos like all the time, and then like whenever I need to talk to him, he is so entranced in that video that like I have to repeat myself. He's like, well, it's because I have ADHD, and I'm like, okay, that's Okay, it's whenever. It's
See,
fine.
I think that's a legitimate excuse, but it's like if you're not doing anything to change that,
Yeah.
you're just making it worse with the social media and shit like that. And
Right.
You're making it worse with the computers and with the screens. So it's like there was ADHD before social media,
Yeah.
but now it's just even more heightened because of like
Oh
the
yeah.
readily accessibility of having it right in front of you. So it's like just be like, I don't know, try to have a conversation with like, Rob, I get it, you have ADHD, but it's like, you ever think that like you just sitting here with the phone in your hand is making it worse and worse?
Right.
So it's like maybe he'll like think about it a different way and like try and have like a productive conversation with him about it and be like, just try and like actively take steps and be like, I just realized like I'm going through a fit where I'm like just doing this for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, and then kind of like have a conversation with him, be like, hey, look, like I feel like you're not like having good communication with me, because not because of the ADHD, but because you're sitting there just scrolling through your phone, like trying to distract yourself from whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, you know what I mean? Again, part of it is the ADHD, but again, it's like the fact that you can just sit here and you have the whole plethora of the internet in your phone, and you can look up anything from milk jugs to like milk duds within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't help with ADHD, you know what I mean? Like, just throw your phone up. Like,
Right.
just to put it somewhere.
Yeah,
You know,
and there's been, sorry to cut you off, but
No,
there have
you're
been
fine.
like people who are like, to help like you get into more of a morning routine, put your phone across the fucking room.
Right.
Don't put it right next to your bed. Put it across the room, because whenever
Right.
your alarm goes off, you have to physically get up and go turn off your
100%.
alarm.
100%.
So I don't do that, but
I try to do that. One thing you can do is like, if you're charging your phone or something like that, keep it on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
If you're charging it and not using it, or if like again with the alarm thing, is like I keep my phone like on the floor, so then when my alarm goes off, like I'm like, fuck, I have to actually physically roll over,
Yeah.
sit there, strain my eyes to actually look at the phone and look at the time, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting up.
Right.
Whereas
yeah.
if it was like right next to me in bed, I just try to like tap it. But it's
Yep.
like if it's like over here on my desk and my bed's over there, I physically have to get up,
Mm-hmm.
turn it off, and then like once I do that, I'll kind of realize like I should probably get up, like maybe I go to the bathroom too, so then it's like I'm already ready to go.
And
know,
your
I'm already
body's starting to work. Yeah,
already
and wake
starting.
up.
Yeah.
There was also, what was it? You said, oh my god, you just said something. What was the last thing we were literally just talking about?
ADHD, phones, sleeping.
Oh, same with healthy foods. Like if you want to try and start eating healthier, try and fill your house with healthier options of like snacks, like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that.
That's such a diet hack.
Right? I know.
If you don't keep trash in the house,
Yes.
like I'll show you after we're done with this what I have. The only thing I have in abundance is energy drinks. So it's like
Might have to steal one.
yeah, you can take whatever you want. But like I have like all of my food prepped and ready to go. So it's like
Nice.
my brother's a huge snack guy.
Yeah.
He's got like cupboards designated for snacks and
Same.
shit. But it's like I've found that like I snack so much less because I don't have anything in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll show you my cupboard and stuff downstairs. You'd be like,
I could fit in there.
you're like, you got oats and peanut butter? That's it? I'm like, yeah, I don't have chips. Like, I don't have candy. I don't have shit around. I got some cookies for after the show.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
I
show
saw
you.
those.
Yeah,
Those look so good.
I'll show you those too. But I got them, threw them right in the freezer.
Good.
Because if I didn't, I'd probably put them in the fridge and
Yeah.
like it probably just like
Like
taught
on
me the whole
thaw.
time. Yeah. And what I've been doing throughout this whole prep is like trying to make sure that I don't, because like I'm like fantasizing about food. It's fucking like borderline sexual. It's disgusting. But like, you know what I mean? I'll like go to the grocery store and I'll like see stuff like, damn, I'm gonna eat that after prep. But I was like, I'm not gonna buy this now because I know it's gonna sit in my fridge and it's gonna be terrible. And
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna cave and I'm gonna eat it. So it's like I'll just think about it later, or like put it down on my phone or something like that, or whatever, and then I'll forget about it.
Right.
Whereas like if I buy it and I'm like, oh, I'm saving this for whatever, it's like I'm gonna eat it at some point.
Exactly. I mean, you're only 9 days out, so, well, 10 days, but
Yeah, I think it's 3 weeks.
not the 10th anymore?
No, it's the 20th.
Oh, it's 20th.
It's
Cool.
August 20th.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited, but I gotta fucking. So the Friday before the show, at like 5, I gotta go get the first coat of spray tan, and then I gotta try and sleep and not fuck up the spray tan, or fuck up my sheets, and then the next morning, so the show like starts at 10:30 a.m. but they probably want you to check in around like 8 or 9 or whatever. But I need to get my second coat at 6:15 in the morning. So I gotta like get a lift and like blast over there and get a coat done and literally put a sock over my dick so the lady can blast me down. You know what I mean? At 6:30 in the morning, showing.
You're just like, this is exactly where we both want to be right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's getting paid really. You should see how much money, because I had to pay for it. So I had to pay $150 to get a fake tan.
For both of them, or all together?
All together.
Okay, I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but like, think about how many people she's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's pulling in bags.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's kind of annoying for her. She's gonna have to work like Friday and then Saturday, and she'd be pretty busy both of those days back to back.
Every hour.
But like, she's pulling in like guap.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, she's busting her ass, but like, she's.
Can I be your assistant?
Yeah, she's making it worth it. I mean, I think she probably has assistants, but yeah, no, I'm probably gonna chat her up and be like, so how much money are you making? Yeah, because I mean, that shit is not cheap, and I mean, all the supplies and like all the equipment she has, like, it's not cheap to maintain or buy.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
You mean you're providing a service.
The best service.
And it's you should be compensated for it.
Is it Protan?
I don't know what it is. It's like I think she's like an independent lady, but again, this is like I'm doing a natural show, so it's not like these people are all like super like insane. Like, she's probably gonna be good at what she does, but you know what I mean? It's like she's just doing this for the show and whatever. But I'm assuming she like makes good money doing this, because she like travels around like the country doing this kind of stuff. So,
hell yeah.
So good for her. But let's get into another question here. Oh, also after the book question, is there any good podcasts you're listening to or would recommend? Because honestly, all the podcasts I listen to are all comedy based. Because like, me personally, I'm not the kind of guy who like sits there and like needs motivation. I'm like a very like go-getter, like I'm ready to fucking go right now kind of guy. So like, I don't need to like sit there and like watch like 15 minutes of Ronnie Coleman lifting to get myself to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, I also don't need to like listen to like motivational shit to like really feel like I'm like empowered or whatever. But like, every once in a while I'll listen to like, there's like one podcast I've been listening to recently called Legacy Loading. Shout out to them. And those are like a bunch of fitness influencers, but they do more like, they're like trying to motivate more people. And like, I found myself like kind of like feeling more motivated listening to them. But it's like, most of my podcasts I just listen to are like comedy based, and some of them about sports and stuff like that. So any good podcast you can recommend to the people?
Yeah. So I love just listening to a lot of the same things that like I am trying to help people with. So just like mindset, happiness, trying to find yourself, like lifting, and just I have like a couple of meditation podcasts on here, and some affirmation podcasts that I very rarely listen to, because sometimes this lady's voice creeps me out, but it's fine.
Is it like close to the ASMR?
Kind of. She's just like, it's this one, so she's like of that
Josie
ethnicity.
Affirmation pod.
And so like whenever she's talking, she's like, okay, so we're gonna breathe in deeply now. And I'm like, I can't do this.
I honestly, like, brief side tangent, I really dislike ASMR, and I like, one of my biggest pet peeves that like, I don't know what it is, but it physically and mentally makes me so upset, is when I listen to people like make mouth noises or eat foods or like go out of their way to make it sound like, because I watch a lot of streamers and stuff like that, and they'll be like making like lip smacking, sucking noises, and I get like heavy triggered. I just don't like it because I don't think it's necessary.
Like the word moist.
Right, and it's also like a big thing in anime is when characters are eating. Obviously, like you're a voice actor, so you have to overact. Yeah. But they make like, shit like that, and I'm like, fuck, why? Yeah, I hate you so much. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but like, it just like ASMR and that kind of stuff has the exact opposite of what, you know what I mean? Because people like find it like soothing.
Oh yeah.
I get like upset. Like, I'm gonna punch someone upset. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I gotta do some like introspective like work on myself to figure out what that problem is. But like, and like just like light whispering, like shit like that. And like, if people like whisper into my ear, I'm like, oh,
can you not?
Yeah, I just like instantly tense up. But I didn't mean to.
Oh no, you're good.
Cut off track, but
are the best.
I just thought of that because it's like me and my brother have that same thing, whereas like we just hate like the mouth smacking, lips smacking, sucking, like slurps, the soup slurping,
the
like
slurping.
Oh my god, I never thought like people could make eating food sound so gross.
Right.
I'd rather listen to like some woman suck dick in porn.
It's kind of the same thing.
It is kind of the same thing, but it's like also like maybe I just got like a weird ass.
You're like, I actually know what this is. I know what is going on over here.
I'm like, it's supposed to sound gross because it is gross because she's sucking dick.
Oh my god, that was so great. Let's see. So I have there's one called On Purpose with Jay Shetty. I love Jay Shetty. He is a he was a monk. I don't know how he's not a monk anymore. Once you're a monk, don't you always become a monk?
No, I think you can leave the priesthood.
Okay, cool.
I don't think there's anything keeping you there.
Okay.
It's like the same thing if you're like a priest or a pastor. It's like, if you don't have to do it for life. You can retire from it.
That's cool.
Same thing with, honestly, with like the monkhood too. Like, what are they gonna do? Beat you up?
Right.
You know, they're not gonna keep you there. If you want to go out and like do different stuff with your life, I'm pretty sure they'll let you do that. They might not let you come back and do it again.
That would make sense.
But yeah.
But he talks about a lot of different things. So, one of the most recent ones, he had Matt Damon on there, and then like the one.
One thing you should know about me. Big Matt Damon.
I'll send this one to you.
Big Matt Damon.
It says it's about seeing problems and taking action and how to help others in crisis.
Okay, I like that.
So he has a lot of really good people on here, and I resonate with a lot of his topics that he has, like accepting yourself with radical love and how to know when you're running from your fears.
Ooh, I like that.
4 steps to develop a growth mindset and 4 ways to stop listening to opinions of others.
Ooh, I like that.
Really, really good stuff. Just all different types of topics. That's, I think, really why I like that one. And then Rachel Hollis is also a good one, the Rachel Hollis podcast. She is kind of like everywhere. She knows a little bit about everything. And some of her podcasts are a little bit more like religion forward, which doesn't necessarily make me feel weird. I just don't really like resonate with it that much.
Yeah.
And I've also kind of found a lot of the people are like, I don't know if it's just like a trend lately. This is going to make me sound so bad. But a lot of people are like, I love God. God has saved me. He has spoke to me in so many ways. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And it's like the most ratchet bitches who are just like, I'm following God now. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the fuck? You were sucking dick behind a Denny's 2 days ago. Now Jesus Christ holding your hand, sweetheart?
Right? Like
you were just sucking off Jesus, the dishwasher at the Denny's.
Oh my god. Yeah, like that was my side tangent. It's just been like the little thing. But just like a lot of the like help podcasts, one that kind of is really heavy on the Christianity, I don't know if it's because of just him, but it's called Straight Up from Trent Shelton, and he has like a lot of these like
sounds like a country music singer.
Right, I know.
Trent Shelton.
He's a black dude.
He looks like he's a country music singer, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Or like Lecrae, kind of. Lecrae is the rapper.
Yeah.
But he like goes on like these like 30-minute tangents of like why you're stuck in your life, and like kind of like motivates you to like help you like make decisions, or just like is like, well, yeah, you're making the right decisions right now, or like this might not be a good place for you here in this time period, but like maybe a couple weeks down the road, like you'll be on a different path, kind of like what I'm doing right now. So he kind of just like
shifting mindsets, perspectives.
Yeah, exactly. And like just hypes up like what you're already doing for yourself, and you're just like, holy fuck, like a lot of these podcasts sometimes come out whenever I'm like, okay, like I just really need like to hear someone just like really amp me up, or like hear something that like I don't necessarily want to tell myself, but I'm like okay with listening from somebody else.
Yeah.
And just a lot of these different like self-help podcasts have just really helped me just be like, why am I tripping over this? Like this is such a small minuscule thing inside of this like really big fucking rock of our world. Like I should not be tripping over the fact that somebody just cut me off, or the fact that like homie came up and talked to me about me moving his cone in his spot. So like, like, you know, I had to come back around to that. So.
Yeah. We love the circle back.
Right.
We love the pettiness too. Fuck that guy.
Like answer this in like the comments or something. Can you leave a cone in the front spot of your gym if you're not working until like later in the afternoon for no one else to park in? Because I say no. And I say move it.
Right. You're basically leaving an object to reserve a spot, like a parking spot, when you're an employee of a gym. Isn't that the exact opposite? Like, if you're an employee somewhere, like, you should kind of be fine.
Back. Yeah,
and also anywhere I've ever worked, I've never wanted to park right in the front.
Right.
Maybe it's because I haven't liked the places I worked, but, like, I remember back when I was in high school, I worked at a grocery store and I worked in the bakery, and I would just get, on my lunch, I'm going to my car and I'm smoking weed, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not parking right in the front so the fucking manager can see me. And it's also like, I don't want customers like seeing me get out of my car, because what happens if like I have an altercation with a customer, like now I know what he drives.
Right? Or like, now I know that he smokes weed on his break, so I'm gonna tell his boss.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't want people seeing me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is my place of business. Like, I don't want to be parking right in the front. It's also like kind of a dick move. Like,
Right.
oh, weird, egotistical weirdos, dude. I don't know. I don't fucking get it. People are so fucking stupid sometimes. But I do like the podcast recommendations because I do think sometimes like you can get stuck in your head so much and you can know things, but it really takes somebody else kind of stepping you out of your own. You know what I mean? Like giving you that other outside perspective where you're like that affirmation, that confirmation of like, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Like, I am thinking about this in a weird way, or like, I know I'm thinking about this in a weird way, but I just needed that reminder.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to be stuck in your own shit and have like those blinders on. And it's so easy to get stuck in your own perspective in life, where it's like, just one person can come by and give you just a little bit of something and just like completely change how you're thinking. And keeping that perspective like always as open as possible to really give yourself a different mindset on any situation. Because like I'm trying to really force the positivity in my life, and like every time I have like a negative thought, I'm like, why am I thinking like this?
Right? Or like, what lesson?
Yeah, like what can I learn from this? Like this isn't benefiting me, so like how can I change my perspective to not really make it benefit me, but like make it like not negatively impact my life.
Yeah.
But I do like good podcasts and recommendations like that. It's just, again, like most of my podcasts, like I just throw them on at the gym and they're all like comedy based and shit like that. But
right.
I think that's the last question I have, honestly.
I actually do have a couple more podcasts. Can I throw them in there real quick?
Yeah, of course. Keep going, yeah.
So if y'all are into like some really weird shit, like I don't know if you, I mean,
like booty
probably
play?
No. like criminal like podcasts and stuff like that. So like there was one that I was actually listening to, and I don't know if it's the reason I stopped listening to it, but it was actually at a bar here in Denver on a street that I was driving that day, and I was like, okay, can't be listening to this podcast anymore. But basically this girl had gone out on a date, and like this guy had done this like numerous times with other girls. And like he ordered a shot or whatever, and the bartender was like, wait, I've seen this person do this with like another person. And so she was like the fourth girl that he had done this with, and she like went to the bathroom, grabbed a server or a waitress or whatever, and was like, that guy over there is like trying to take me home, like I don't want to go home with him, like he's making me feel really uncomfortable. And she's like, yeah, like he's been here, and like the last couple of girls that he's been with like haven't come back, and like he's been coming back.
Creepy.
Right? And I was like, okay, first off, if he's been with 3 girls and they haven't come back, why hasn't anyone said anything?
Yeah, why are you letting him in the door?
Right? Exactly. And so like the whole thing like kind of didn't really get blown out of proportion, but like she just left and like left safely, and then like he somehow got a hold of her contact wise and was just like blowing up her phone, and then she disappeared.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I stopped listening to that one, but
fuck. Dude, that's why like some of that criminal stuff like hits way too close to home and it gives me anxiety. So I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I think it was
like,
right.
Because one of my roommates showed me like this one story about this guy who like killed his wife and his kids like here in Colorado like not too long ago. And he's like showing me the videos of the body cams of the cops, and the guy's like trying to like plead his case. He's talking, he's like, I don't know where my wife is.
Yeah,
and you can obviously tell. Yeah, and I'm like, dude, this is like, it's not even like anything like crazy. Like it's obviously not footage of him killing anybody, but like it was giving me anxiety, and I was having a good day, and I was like, bro, turn this off, please.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this. Like we just went out, we just had a good day. You know, we had a good lift. We were hanging out. We were getting some food, and he's like showing me all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, like now I just feel bad. I was like, I wish you didn't show me that.
Like
it's super
survivor's guilt.
Yeah, I was like, it's super interesting, but I was like, now I just feel like weird. You know what I mean? It gives me that weird negative feeling. So I was like, don't show me that, dude.
Yeah.
Like show me like puppies and kitties, dog.
Yeah, I definitely had to take that one off my list for sure. My last one is Do You Fucking Mind? I don't know, she's definitely, I don't know her ethnicity. She's very beautiful. She's British, but she has a lot of mindset just hacks. This is Mindset Hacks for a Badass Life. But before she even gets into the actual podcast of the topic that she's going to talk about, she does a brain fact. Oh. So, like, her last ones were, like, let's see, stress and the side effects on the brain. So, like, she goes in, like, before she's talking about that topic, she's like, okay, little brain fact of the day. This is how stress affects your brain. And I sound just like her. That's weird. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, okay, now we're going to get into the actual podcast. So, like, I love that she kind of just, like, goes in with, like, a fact. Because then I like go and tell people about it and like, did you know that your brain doesn't respond to stress very well? We're
That's
like,
it.
no shit.
So she gives you like the Snapple. So
Yeah, kind of,
right
yeah.
when you pull the Snapple off, you look at the cap, and before you even drink it, it's got the fact on it, and then you get into the beverage. So before the entertainment, you get the little bit of brain knowledge. Because if you can trick people into learning,
Right?
that's how they learn the best. Because if you just go into it and just try and make people straight learn, like they'll be like, "Dah," like with me, I'm an idiot. If you try and teach me something, I'm like, and I'm not interested, I'm just be like, But if you like trick me into learning, I'll be like, I learned something today.
Building blocks.
Yeah, like duh.
But those are the ones that I just like, kind of like cycle through. Besides my Zodiac one, which is on Spotify. It's just like it's like it tells you how your day's gonna go, and like you have like shit in your romantic life. So the lady's voice in that one's nice too. So I think it's just more of an addiction to her voice.
More of an ASMR. Are you big into the zodiac signs? Because I'm an Aries, and I don't know what the rest I am. Actually, hold on. If I give me like 2 seconds, I can try and see if I have a copy of my brain. You can give me the whole breakdown.
I'll look it up for you. So I am definitely not the type of person who's like, oh my gosh, you're such a Capricorn. Like, that is so you. Because I'm a Capricorn sun, I am a Taurus moon, and I'm a Leo rising. So, like, the personalities with Capricorn is, like, super soft and, like, gentle. And then Taurus is, like, very sensitive and just, like, crying all the time. And then Leo is what Rob is. So Leos are, like, very eccentric and, like, want to match everything and just, like, kind of want to be the center of attention. So I'm just like, nah, I don't know how this works.
I don't know how any of it works, because my roommate's, like, big into cosine and, like, all the signs and stuff like that. And he's like, you gotta find out the day you were born, the time, and all this shit so you can figure out everything. And, like, now I'm, like, looking at the time and, like, the location and shit like that. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with any of the information.
So if you do download CoStar, it'll have you put all of that in there.
I had it. I think I could download it really quick, but because I know I'm an Aries, and people are like, oh, that makes so much sense. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck.
You're like, no, it does not.
Yeah, like, I don't give a fuck.
So, like, today mine says, today through tomorrow, are you looking for a good conspiracy? This week you're facing unexpected roadblocks. The progress you believed you should have made by now is not where you are. Now, no one is perfect. No one has a perfect 10-year plan, even if they say they do. You'll be able to better yourself, understand your goals, and if you give yourself some more room to breathe. Do old libraries, citations, and parchment, but don't do overthinking body language or betrayal.
Okay.
It's very interesting.
Do you know how I update this? Because this says Aries, Cancer, and Aquarius, but I don't know how right that is. So, like, can I change my stuff on here? It says change profile photo. Or is it
Chart,
settings?
Oh, settings maybe?
Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, here we go.
Nice.
And
then we can be friends.
Oh, sure. I always need more friends. See, birthplace.
Holy shit, there's a lot of people that have this. Damn, so many people in my contacts have this app.
Jesus. Birthday, birth time. Okay, cool. Done. So look at my chart. I'm an Aries, Cancer, and a Libra. I don't know what any of that means. It says, good evening. Reflect on your goals a little bit throughout the day. Power and spirituality and social life. Pressure in routine, thinking and creativity. Sex and love and self. Which is funny because since I've been dieting down and on prep, 0 sex drive. In the fucking garbage. Today your mind is in chaos. Makes sense because I'm on prep. You stumble over your words, been doing that a lot lately. Mix up people's names, been doing that a lot lately. And accidentally take the wrong turn. I don't remember if I did that. Embrace your confusion. Enter the paradox of yes and no, or true and not true. You already know how to weave words together, and that's a start. I'm not going to read it the entirety of it, but if anybody wants to look into this more, I'm an Aries, Cancer, Libra. So does that mean like I'm going to get a fat booty Latina in my life or something like that?
Oh my god. Cancers are definitely super, like, fiery. Maddie's a Gemini.
Well, I'm like a very, like, I've been, like, leaning into this more throughout, like, the past, like, few years because, you know, I moved out here in 2017 and I went through a breakup and it kind of, like, changed my perspective on life, and that kind of really made me focus more on myself and my emotions. And when I was growing up, like middle school to high school, I don't know why, I've always been a really emotional guy. But middle school and high school, I tried to shut my emotions away because I was like, I didn't want to feel these emotions. You know what I mean? Like going through puberty, my hormones are all over the place. Like I don't want to feel emotions. I just want to be like, you know, a cool person, or I want to be like whatever I wanted to be at the time. But you know, after I got into college and like, you know, and then when I got out of college, I found like, you know, leaning more into my emotional side and kind of like leaning into who I want to be and like finding out what's more important. And like over the past couple of years, I've come to really realize like how important my support system is to me and telling them I love them. Because like I come from a family where they're not, I mean, they very supportive, very emotionally supportive, but they don't say I love you all the time. So like now I'm like forcing it on them. Yeah. I'm like, I love you. Yeah. You know, like I talk to my dad and he's coming around to it because he's like, you know, he grew up in the New England area and his parents, you know what I mean? Like he didn't grow up the kind of parents that give him hugs and kisses and pat him on the ass and tell him he's fucking amazing and shit. So like he didn't raise me like that. He just raised me by supporting me with everything he could, you know, financially, all that shit, did whatever I wanted to do, stuff like that. You know, I had a great childhood, still had like a great family life, which I'm super thankful for. But it's one thing is I want them to lean more into their emotions and like, I don't know how much time I have left with them. Yeah. I don't know how much time I have left with anybody. You never know. So it's like I want to tell them I love them every single time. So like every time I get off the phone with my parents, I'm like, I love you. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get it to say it back. I mean, my mom's good about it, but she also grew up with a father who was like very emotionally distant too. Like, you know, loved her unconditionally, but you mean they grew up in a time and a place where you're a man, you don't show emotions. So it's like I'm really trying to get over that and be like, you know, like I even tell like a lot of my male friends, be like, all right, bro, I love you. I'll talk to you soon, like stuff like that. It's like really leaning into that and like, you know, being an Aries or whatever the fuck. You're so emotional. I'm like, yeah, but it's like it's also me like trying to control those emotions and really like making myself like stand out. Not like trying to be like egotistical or whatever, but like standing out from the rest because some people just like can't handle their emotions. Like I've known like 35-year-olds who are like emotional wrecks.
Oh yeah, and they become toxic and then they become narcissists. So
yeah, and they like, you know, ruin lives around them. Where it's like if I can handle my emotions, like I have a massive step up. Like not only like personally but professionally. Yeah. Like if I'm a professional individual and I can like handle my emotions and then channel them at the right times, like that's gonna give me so many more opportunities in life to like bring things around for me and for the people around me. So it's like, I mean, I tell my brother, my sister, my mom, my dad, all my friends, like I'm just like, yeah, I love you. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it's not gonna hurt me. No. And then also not like the type of people who be like, bro, you gay. Like, right? What the fuck?
It should be second nature. 100% second nature. Just like picking up the phone and saying hello. Being able to put it down and be like, I love you. Yeah. Super simple.
And being able to like not emotionally repress yourself, because I feel like you're gonna get a fucking brain tumor or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you just bury so much stuff down and deep inside you, and I feel like you have like less mental breakdowns, like less emotional like outbursts if you give yourself the time to channel that. And it's like I got no problem crying. Like I don't want to cry in public because that's just like kind of like weird. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just need to cry. Right. Like I don't want people asking me if I'm okay. You know what I mean? Because like
you're gonna dump all on them.
Yeah, and it's also like if I wasn't okay, like I mean, I probably talk to someone, but it's like, you know, sometimes you just need to let those emotions out, and like, I feel like it happens to me a lot when I'm like fucked up, because like those emotional barriers are like just broken down. Oh yeah. So it's like, you know, whenever like when I was like experimenting with like psychedelics when I was younger and stuff like that, like I would like randomly like I'd be in a good mood like on mushrooms, but like I'd start crying. Yeah. But that's just because I have a massive influx of emotions. Yeah. And my hormones are, because when you don't really think about it, but the way that you're tripping is that you're having a crazy chemical reaction in your stomach. It's not your brain. I mean, it's all the hormones in your stomach reacting to like the psilocybins or whatever it is, or and the chemicals. So you're then like emotionally tripping. Like it's not the brain stuff. You know what I mean? It's all your stomach. So it's just like I had all those like flux of emotions. I look myself in the mirror and I'm like I got like tears rolling down my face. I'm like sitting there like laughing.
Like the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, so it's like weird, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, I always like heard that. I was like, oh, don't look at yourself in the mirror. But I loved it. Every time I was tripping, I always did that.
I think it's because it scares people.
It didn't scare me. It made me like fall in love with myself. You know what I mean? Awesome. It made me like realize I'm like I love being myself. Like it made me like realize like I've only had like good trips, but like it made me realize like yes, I'm becoming who I want to be. Like yes, I love where I am right now. Like yeah, nothing's perfect, but like yes, this is like I like this. You know what I mean? So it's like it didn't scare me. Like because I'm like looking at myself like through a different lens. But I don't know. It's just definitely interesting.
I'm stoked.
How long are we going? We're almost at 2 hours here.
Yeah, I've
Pretty
actually gotta probably head out here soon. I promised my dog Lucius, who doesn't understand me whatsoever, that I would take him on a walk.
Of course, we have to take care of.
I've also been throwing away a lot of his toys, so I feel really, really bad.
Are they all beaten up? Is that why?
So the nylon bones, like the really hard bones,
Yeah.
are really bad for their teeth.
Ooh, I can imagine.
And I've been watching this guy who has a Malinois just like him,
Yeah.
and he's like, I've physically watched them break her teeth, so
Oof.
it's like one of his favorite toys.
Yeah.
So I'm like letting him hold on to it for like the
little bit
last like
longer.
week,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I gotta throw it away because I would hate for him to like chip a tooth and us not be home, and then him just destroy the fucking house because he's in so much pain.
Right.
So I'll probably head out to do that because, oh my god, it's below 95 degrees here, y'all.
Crazy. I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt and fucking pajama pants.
I know, whenever you came out, I was like,
Well, it's like also since I'm down 10 pounds, I'm just cold constantly.
yeah, I forgot about
I mean,
that.
so like it's like my blood is like so thin right now, so it's like I'm just cold all the time.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, you want to like plug your socials and stuff like that. I'm gonna put them down in the description below. But if you want to like plug any kind of socials or anything you want people to follow,
Yeah.
feel free.
Yeah, I just changed my Instagram. It's gonna be _real RYL_Dill DYL. That's gonna be my personal account. I have a lot of the fitness account on there as well. And then my podcast, which I haven't hit up in a really long time, is Bright as Can Be with D. So those are just the two that I frequent most as of right now.
Awesome, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We will probably gonna try and do this again. Scheduling is a little weird, especially with my fucking like my show and stuff like that. So we'll figure out something, and definitely before I leave Colorado, if I do leave, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, opportunities all over the place. But thank you so much again, Dylan Wilkerson. Thank you so much. I love you.
Yeah, I love you too. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for having me. This was so much fun. I actually really enjoyed watching League of Legends.
It's
entire
on in the
time that we did
background.
this. So,
it's mind numbing good time.
yeah, I'm very ready to get on like a schedule for this because I did not believe that we were going to be doing this for like a good 2 hours. This is a good chat. I like this.
You just get to start talking, and sometimes the words just start flowing out. But
right?
thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. You know, fucking any constructive criticism, highly appreciated. So again, this is the Backed by Bone podcast. I forget what episode this is, but you know you'll fucking figure it out. So thank you everyone for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.